To Paris now, where the men's triathlon at the Olympics has been postponed due to concerns over the water quality of the River Seine. The race, which was originally due to take place today, will now be held tomorrow morning at 10:45 local time. What the heck is going on here? Toni Minichiello, athletics commentator and former Olympic coach, is with us. Good afternoon to you, Tony.
Good afternoon, Ian.
Nice to have you with us. I mean, this wasn't supposed to happen, right?
No, nobody. I mean, it was a concern. It was a concern, and it had been voiced before about the river, and for that reason, that's why 1.4 billion euros was spent tidying up the river.
Yeah.
But hopefully to not end up in this position, but they have.
I mean, I would have thought, I know you're not a river expert, you're an athletics man, but nonetheless, and I'm a broadcaster, but I would have thought that, you know that phrase, you had one job. When you're organising a triathlon, make sure that everyone's got a bike, everyone's got some legs, and everyone's got a river or some form of water to swim in. They're the basic requirements of the sport, right?
Yeah, I mean, this Olympics is a little bit unusual because they're swimming in the Seine, which is a river. It's a flowing river. Whereas normally what would happen is you'd be in a lake. So you don't have sewage and the like going into a lake. The biggest thing they'd ever have to deal with is the blue algae. And there is methodology of how to treat that. Yeah. But I can understand why Paris have gone in the Seine. I mean, the course runs along the Arc de Triomphe, close to the Arc de Triomphe, and the Champs-Élysées and things like that. It's iconic. It's taking in, the vast majority of the city so that people can see the tourist element of the city.
Sure,
it's a great course for the spectator.
It's amazing. I mean, obviously, it's a kind of follow-on from how they did their opening ceremony. The river was very key to it, of course, and all the landmarks around it. As you say, Notre Dame and the Eiffel Tower is always there in the back. Amazing stuff, and if you can pull it off. But, I would have thought by now they would have been aware of any hygiene issues that they have with the river. I imagine heads are rolling in various very top-notch Parisian meetings as we speak, and they're trying to get this thing sorted. But I would imagine also, Tony, that the athletes now are probably thinking, do I even want to get in this thing?
Well, it's changing, isn't it? Because we're saying that it could happen after the ladies' event, the women's event tomorrow. Alternatively, they're looking at the Friday. So from my perspective as a coach, and athletes, you'd be chomping at the bit to get started, and it's like, well, there's a 3-day delay here, there's a 4-day delay, and you'll have been quite meticulous building to this event because it is the pinnacle for triathlon. An Olympic medal is a big deal.
Of course it is. Of course it is. So something is going to happen. I guess maybe they're also scrambling around looking for the nearest lake maybe in the meantime. I don't know what the contingency plans are.
I mean, from what I've read, the suggestion is that hopefully the river will get better, that the flow of water and it will be better, if not Friday. The other thing which I think is quite interesting is they're talking about doing a duathlon, which will be just the run and the cycle. Now, whether they're going to do a bike run, or whether they're going to do a run cycle, but it fundamentally changes the event. It's a different sport, duathlon.
Sure. Of course
it has its own world championship. So, and the swim is probably the most technical event, to be honest, and it will favour some if the swim is taken out, and it will disadvantage others. So a lot of the things to think about, I think, for the organisers.
Just a word on the specific sport then, Tony. I mean, Team GB have had previous successes in triathlon, of course. Where are we placed this year? Where are we looking at this year in terms of potential placement, in terms of names to look for in both the men's and the women's?
I think on the women's side, you've got to be looking at Beth Potter from a GB point of view. I think, an outstanding athlete whose background, 10,000 metre running, an excellent runner in that respect. Yeah. And then on the men's side, we've got Alex Yee, who it'll be interesting to see how this ends up. I don't think swimming's his strongest. So if you take the swim out, it certainly would favour, I think, Alex. But if it's in there, he's still an incredible competitor. There's probably 5 or 6 men from a number of nations, I think, will compete for medals, but Alex will be in amongst them regardless. Yeah, indeed. Well, fingers crossed on both of those names as well. Tony, thank you for your time, sir. Really appreciate that. Toni Minichiello.